Well, Mr. John Black, Super Chemist. This video is going to be on tariffs. Might even be 2 videos, I doubt it. But and then I'm going to get into the Prescott Bush. I'm going to get into the Bush family, the 100-year plan to take over everything. So this one is about tariffs. Okay, tariffs, again, this is another trick, just like the printing money up, the Federal Reserve. Everyone thinks that, if they print up some money and give it to us, that they're actually giving you money. They're not giving you money, they're giving you debt. Like I said before, if you have X amount of dollars in the money supply, and let's say you have $10 billion in the money supply, and they print up $10 billion, and they evenly distribute it to everybody, so that everyone doubles their money. Whatever they had, they now doubled, okay? It doesn't change anything. Whatever you bought for $10 before they printed up that money, it was $10. After they print up the money, now it's $20. So yeah, everyone doubled their money because they gave you money, but everything in your society, the price will double. So they cancel each other out. So you get no money really. You get more money, but all your money is devalued by the same percentage that you printed up. You know what I mean? And then, so now that first month, they doubled your money, and they doubled the price of everything. So, okay, you're fine. You can at least pay everything, But what about next month? Next month, your pay at work is going to be the same. The government ain't going to be giving you no money, right? But the inflation's still going to be there because they printed up all this money. In the same way with the month after that, and the month after that, and the month after that, and the month after that. So all they did was they made inflation go up by the same percentage of the money that they gave you. Then it only helped you that month, and it didn't even help you because everything else doubled. Everything went up the same percentage that they gave you in money. But now it's stuck there, that inflation, and you don't got that government thing coming in anymore. So now you have to deal with inflation. You could have just stayed where you were. And not only that, since you printed up money, you owe interest to the Federal Reserve Bank on that $10 billion that you printed up. You didn't get anything. But you see how it sounds good if you're stupid, right? If you're human. The government's saying, we're going to print up money and give it to you. That sounds like you're getting money. But do you understand the trick? You aren't getting money. Whatever they give you, they just suck that value out of your money that you already had and put it into that, so you have the same value. It's the same thing. It's the same way with tariffs. It's a trick. They're saying that they want low tariffs, right? Because the poor person and the middle class and the lower rich people, they all want low prices on products and goods, right? And if you raise up tariffs, then all the prices raise up. Can I ask you this? If 90% of your products are made by, we're in the United States. If 90% of our products are made by the United States people, by Americans, and 10% is being imported in, well then how does that really affect all the prices? It's only a small percentage of all the products and goods and services that are made, that are here in the United States. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the ratio is for what it is for outside and inside, foreign goods in this country in Oregon. I don't know what it is. But I can guarantee you that it's probably very low in America that we actually make anything compared to what goods and services are imported into our country. Okay? See, this is a trick. Let me ask you this. The World Bank, that's their one trick. They go into a third world country, right? They force them to borrow money for infrastructure that their corporations, by the way, will build. You know what I mean? And if they don't play ball, they kill them. And another president comes in and he plays ball. Then they don't even finish the infrastructure because it's so massive that this third world country cannot afford to keep paying them to keep building this massive structure. like a water or sewage or this or that, you know what I mean? So the structure, whether it's gas or water or whatever, it ends up just sitting there collecting dust, never being used because it's not completed, because the third world country can't afford this massive loan that they just took out to do this. So what happens? What is the one thing? So then they start strong arming them, you know what I mean? You can't pay, the interest keeps building up, and then now they can't pay their interest. So they're like, hey man, you owe us money, you can't even pay the principal or the interest. You got to do us some favors, like give us, you vote the way we say in the UN. You let us put some, military bases here in your country. You do this, you do that. One of the things that they ask is that they lower their tariffs and basically get rid of all import tariffs. Why would the elites do that? Why would they do that? The reason why they do that, okay, because we know these people are evil, right? They're destroying these third world countries. So why would they want the tariffs low if that's good for the country? Because it's not good for the country, you morons. What they do is then they go in, right? And they have no tariffs. So their mega mass-produced products are so cheap that they can undercut the indigenous businesses, right? They can undercut them, right? Then they put all them into the native businesses out of business, and they take over the entire economy. All their businesses now are owned by the World Bank or the corporations that are with the World Bank. That's what low tariffs do for third world countries when the World Bank comes in and does their mafia loan sharking scheme on third world countries. That's what low tariffs do for them. Okay, what do low tariffs do for us? Yeah, it does lower prices and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, okay, you're going to have lower prices. But at what cost? See, you're never going to see. You're not even supposed to. And I'm going to go into how the federal government and the state government is actually supposed to work. Okay, but the federal government is not supposed to have any power whatsoever. Okay, really. Okay, there should be no federal income tax. We pay federal income tax. Do you know why we pay federal income tax? Because we put tariffs. What do we do with tariffs? We lowered our tariffs. Yeah. The federal government used to run solely 100% on tariffs from imports, import tariffs. This whole time when I say a tariff, I'm talking about import tariffs into the United States, right? Yeah, we had high import tariffs. The foreigners would come and bring their stuff, bring their goods and services. They got more customers by coming here, right? And we got their tariffs. We got their money. That's that's our tax. That's a tax. But we don't have to pay it. See, we don't have to pay. But before, when we were normal, we didn't have to pay any federal taxes. Why? Because the foreigners paid our federal taxes. And you're saying, no. We don't want the foreigners to pay. We don't want them to pay our federal taxes. We want to pay them ourselves so that we have lower prices. Do you get that you're going to pay those taxes either way? You're either going to pay them, right, with federal taxes, or you're going to pay it by having high tariffs. The foreigners come in and then you have a choice. You can buy their products at a high price, or you can buy products from Americans. They can't, see the thing is they can't undercut the Americans because they have high tariffs. How can they undercut them? They can't undercut them. That's what the tariffs are there. They put the tariffs high up just enough so that they can, it's worth money for the foreigners to come in for them. The foreigners are, well, I'm still making money. But it's high enough so that their prices don't undercut all the Americans and put all the American businesses out of business. Okay. I want you to understand also that when we used to be normal and we have in times paid federal tax, like Abraham Lincoln instituted a national tax, like a federal income tax, national tax. It was like 3%, and for the war, but it was just like for 10 years or whatever. It was the length of the war, the Civil War. Then it was dropped. You know what I mean? That was how we funded our wars without without a Federal Reserve Bank, before we had Federal Reserve Banks, like in between when we didn't have them. That's how you fund a war. You put a federal tax on everybody. Then the war's over. Okay, now we don't need that federal tax money. But yeah, we don't. That it's our choice to either pay the federal government and make it run through federal taxes or through taxes that we pay through. Because if we let me see how much time I got here. I'm on 12 minutes. We can have low tariffs where we have cheap stuff, right? But we have to pay income taxes, or we can have higher tariffs and have no federal tax, none, and then the rich buy off the the more expensive stuff off of the foreigners, or whatever. Or you have the choice of buying off of the foreigners and donating to this tax. You don't have to buy off of them. You know what I mean? It's a choice then. Okay, if it's tariffs, because the tariffs are only on imports, right? So the tariff isn't on American-made goods. So that's number one. You have a choice to pay this tax to the federal government. Federal taxes, they want everyone to do it mandatory, right? Tariffs, you have a choice. The poor people don't have to actually buy the tariffed goods and contribute to the government, the federal government. Okay, that's the main number one thing. Okay, is that okay? But the other thing is you're going to pay it either way. You're either going to pay it by higher prices, right? You got high tariffs, so you pay higher prices. Or you have low tariffs, and now you have to, instead of paying it here to the tariff guy, and the tariffs go to the government, you just give it to the government directly. But either way, it's going to the government. Either way, whether you give it to the tariff guy, the foreigner, and then he gives to the government, because it's tariff, that's where tariffs go. Or federal tax, I just give directly to. Either way, you're paying. You're not gaining anything, you morons. How are you gaining? If these lower prices mean that you have to pay federal taxes, which is equivalent, actually more, okay, than the tariffs, you're paying more federal taxes than you would for these, whatever. When they were restricted to tariffs, then their spending, was more normal. You know what I mean? When they could just take from us, when the federal government can just tax us to infinity, yeah, they spend like crazy. But when they have a limited amount of money because they only get it from tariffs, yeah, their spending starts being normal. Okay. Or should I say more normal? Okay. And I'm running out of time here. There might be another part 2 on this. I'll watch this and see. Oh, yeah, that's my timer.